Are you curious about what's happening right now in the housing market? I don't mean sales reports that show us what happened 60 or 90 days ago. I mean right now. What are buyers and sellers doing at this very moment? Well, I've got some answers for you. The May pending home sales report is here, and it holds the answers to what is going on today in the Tallahassee real estate market. As a leading indicator of home sales, the pending home sales report provides early insight into housing market activity. When you couple what you can learn by studying new contracts with a review of detailed supply and demand numbers like we reported recently, you end up with the best understanding of current activity in the housing market. If you are a viewer from another market area, I can tell you that this report very likely mirrors your market too, though the prices and values might be higher or lower. My interactions with agents from all across the U.S. have revealed to me that we're all facing very similar market conditions. Today's report is a comprehensive review of new contracts, and it concludes with an accurate forecast of the coming months in the Tallahassee real estate market. I've included a link below to all the homes for sale in Tallahassee so you can observe just how many of them are already contract pending, especially once you scroll past the highest price homes in the market. Hi, I'm Joe Manausa, author of The Business of Getting Business and the creator of Manausa.com, where I've helped tens of thousands of people buy and sell homes. I would like to help you too. If you already are a subscriber, thank you and welcome back. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one now. We offer the most thorough and accurate housing market reports on YouTube, plus answers to your real estate frequently asked questions, and we also provide virtual tours of some of the most beautiful homes in Tallahassee. Please remember to like this video, then hit subscribe and click the bell so that you're the most informed buyer or seller in your next real estate transaction. This graph plots the number of home sales each month, organized by the date that contracts were written. This is important to note, as most graphs that I publish are based upon sales closing dates, not contract dates. As these contracts await closing, you must understand that some will fall out, thus recent months will adjust as we move forward, whereas further past months are pretty much set for good. The number of homes that were put under contract each month is color-coded, with the blue bars showing 2019, the gray bars showing 2020, and the red bar showing 2021 contracts. Contracts in 2021 have been higher all year, with April contracts soaring to the highest level we've seen in more than 14 years. And did it carry over to May? Yes, it has. The number of contracts written through the 18th of May is already 26% more than those written through all of May of last year, and we still have the final week of May to go. Again, not all of these new contracts will close, so it will take some time to get an accurate evaluation of the market today versus the market at this time in previous years. But I think it's clear that activity in 2021 is far past that of recent years. Through all of our inventory reports over the past few years, I have pointed out that we need more homes. We need existing sellers to put their homes on the market, but more importantly, we need builders to deliver additional homes to compensate for the lack of new construction over the past 6 years. Builder production has dropped significantly in the past 5 months of 2021, and May is poised to post the worst month in the past several years. The blue bars measure existing home contracts, both pending and closed, by the date the contracts were written, while the red measures the same for new home construction. The red triangles report the percentage of new construction contracts written each month compared to the overall market, and right now May is reporting only 5% new. We need to see new construction pushed to 20% or more for at least a year or two, so the 5% number is just not getting it done. Last year, just over 12% of the contracts written were for new homes, but the trend for new homes this year has dropped to about 10%. As of right now, 211 new construction homes have gone under contract in 2021 versus 209 through all of May in 2020, but we still have over a week left in May. So the number of new homes put under contract this year is about the same as last year, but the existing homes have been flying off the shelf at soaring prices. Builders missed a huge opportunity to sell a lot of homes and to keep prices in check. In the 1990s, it was not uncommon for 20% of all home sales to be new construction, and back then we did not have an inventory shortage like we do today. Builders today could quadruple production without the risk of creating an oversupply in the market, so long as they pay attention to the areas and price ranges in which they build. Consider this my continuing plea to all local home builders. We need more homes. If you want to know why that I believe builders are not building today, you should check out my recent video on the U.S. housing market. In this graph, I calculated the average price of homes under contract in 2021 each month and compared it with the same months in 2020. Look what's happening in May. Buyers in May have been spending nearly the exact amount that May buyers were spending in 2020. This is a huge difference from what we saw in the 4 previous months this year. In fact, the average home contract price in April was up a whopping 13%, and the first 4 months averaged more than 9% higher than last year, so a zero really stands out. Supply and demand determine the price movement, and the lack of inventory means that we should expect prices to continue higher, but for some reason, that has not been the case this month. Before we start jumping to conclusions, let's take a look at the average contract value each month. Similar to the previous graph, which tracked home prices, this graph tracks the average home value in 2021 each month and compares it with the same months in 2020. Prices are what buyers are spending, whereas values are what sellers are getting, and value changes are used to measure appreciation in the housing market. The graph shows that the appreciation rate for the first 4 months in 2021 averaged 10%, but that average has slowed to just below 5% in May. Overall, through the preparation of this report, the average appreciation rate is roughly 9%. So prices in May have not moved, but values have gone higher. This simply means that smaller homes are selling in May when compared to May of last year. For our viewers who are not paying attention to the housing market in May of 2020, it was heavily influenced by COVID and far fewer homes sold than in the prior year. We will have to keep a close eye on this development, as it could suggest that the high end of the housing market is cooling off. Mortgage interest rates have moved up marginally higher, but it's too early to tell if luxury home sales are slowing. Fewer high-end sales would bring down the average sales price, yet still allow for appreciation across the lower 90% of the market. As reported in numerous other market updates, we continue to see low inventory levels in most areas and price ranges below $600,000, and this is the biggest contributor to the accelerated appreciation rate. Despite the decline in May, the appreciation rate is still roughly 3 times the historic norm, and low inventory levels could make this worse. Now is a great time to sell a home, as buyers want to take advantage of historic low mortgage interest rates before they go away. This graph identifies when the current pending and closed contracts were written, with closed contracts shown in blue and pending contracts shown in red. We do this to identify the highest buyer activity periods and to evaluate the health of the pipeline. By pipeline, I mean the pending home sales and how they are distributed. Since the typical contract closes in 30 to 45 days, we have to be concerned with the number of contracts that appear in our report that are older than 45 days. Currently, about a third of contracts are older than 45 days, which is better than we measured the last time we published a pending home sales report. Currently, less than 6% of pending contracts in our MLS were written before this year. Right now, the oldest pending home sale goes back to September of 2017, which is likely an MLS maintenance issue that needs to be removed. There are an additional 6 pending contracts that are more than a year old, and they're also likely bogus as well. Currently, there are 836 Tallahassee homes for sale in the MLS that are under contract with buyers, pending contracts. This represents a growth of nearly 17% since our last pending home sales report. The growth in demand is a normal seasonal move from what we historically see as the market has moved into the strong summer months. What is not normal is the percentage of homes listed that are already under contract with buyers. Specifically, the number of contracts compared to the overall pool of listings is far higher than we would seasonally experience, so sales are good, but inventories are far too low. It's important to understand what this means. Yes, demand has grown about 17% from last month, at a time of year where we expect to see demand grow. The limited inventory of homes for sale means that the relative demand relative to the current supply of home is exploding. Now, let me repeat something I have been saying for more than 6 months, and it continues to be true today. Buyers are wanting to take advantage of low mortgage interest rates, so now is the best time to sell a home that I have seen in my 30 years selling homes in Tallahassee. The year-over-year home sales graph is set up in a different fashion than all previous graphs in this report. Note that this one shows all homes sold segmented by the date of closing, while the past graphs were assembled based upon contract dates. I include this and the following graph in the pending home sales report as a bridge to our other market reports and videos where closed sales dates are used to create the graphs. 9 of the past 10 months have posted gains over the same months in the prior year, including all of the past 8 months. In April, the market was up 22% over last April, but much of this has to do with the fact that COVID was negatively impacting sales a year ago. It's too early to call May, but I suspect we'll have our 9th straight month of gains. So just how strong were the first 4 months of 2021? This graph shows that it was the 3rd best start of the year on record, falling behind only 2005 and 2006 when inorganic demand pushed the market to unsustainable highs. So should we be worried about the sustainability of the current market? In short, yes and no. Yes, we need to be concerned about how the market will cool when mortgage interest rates rise, but no, the number of sales occurring right now is very much an acceptable level when you consider the population growth in Tallahassee since the market peaked 15 years ago. This pretty much mirrors the U.S. housing market. If you'd like to see more about the overall U.S. housing market, I've included a link below to my recent comprehensive examination of the state of the U.S. housing market. As an oversimplification of how population growth impacts home sales, just know that we're bigger now, so we should expect more buyers in the market. Additionally, we are not seeing the signs of a housing bubble like we did in 2005, where inventory levels started to rise. Today, inventory levels are falling, a sign that more homes are needed. Homeowners who have been considering a move need to take note. Current conditions are the best I've ever seen for getting top dollar for your home while also selling it within a predictable time schedule. I am confident that the seller's market conditions will continue for the foreseeable future, but I do believe rising mortgage interest rates will eventually reduce the advantage that current home sellers enjoy. Anybody who studies interest rate history will tell you that mortgage interest rates are going to rise. Nobody knows when, but certainly rates will not stay this low forever. When mortgage interest rates do rise, demand at the top of the market will erode significantly and decline throughout the lower price ranges. If you know you want to move, you should strongly consider doing so immediately while both inventories and mortgage interest rates are each working to your advantage. Regardless of what you decide, we'll be here to keep you up to date on the pending home sales in the Tallahassee real estate market. If you would like to see more videos about current housing market conditions, I've assembled a great playlist that you can view by clicking on the box on the top left corner of your screen. For a playlist of top tips for home sellers, just click on the box below it. Please remember to like this video, check out the links below it, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss anything.